Okay, I'm a fan of second chances. Good morning and good afternoon, dear colleagues. Today I'm going to talk to you just a little bit about my experience as an interpreter in health and wellness, and in particular in the multi-level marketing world. So I'll talk to you a little bit about how I got into working in this field, and a little bit about some of the challenges, the things that I really like. There's a lot to like about the work. I'll talk about some of the products that these health and wellness multi-level marketing firms offer. And then I'll talk a little bit about what it's like to work in the events. So I started working in multi-level marketing, health and wellness in 2017, shortly after I finished my master's at Glendon. And I'll have to be honest with you, at first I was a little bit disappointed that this was really the only work that seemed to be available for me. I was almost indignant to a point where I thought, I did a graduate degree working to interpret for policymakers and, diplomats, and now here I am interpreting for people selling health and wellness products. But I have to tell you that that disappointment did not last long. I realized very quickly that the working conditions in these events, working for health and wellness events, are absolutely amazing, especially compared to what I was used to coming from the world of healthcare and court interpreting, where you're lucky if you get to go to the bathroom once during an entire day. So the working conditions in terms of the location has always been great. They're usually these events are usually in nice hotels where they feed you really good food. There's a full booth setup, which in the wild, wild west of conference interpreting of my region is not always a given. A lot of times you can work with the text so that they can put the teleprompter in front of you, and usually the clients are pretty good about giving you preparation material in advance, if for no other reason to kind of secretly sell you the products. So, um, and there is a constant flow of water and coffee throughout the day at these events, which I very much appreciate. These events also pay really well. I've never had to fight with anyone about getting my full day rate plus overtime and all of my per diem fees and travel and lodging paid for. And compared to a lot of the work that I've done in medicine and court and policy, they're relatively low pressure. The point of these health and wellness multi-level marketing events is just to get everyone fired up and excited about selling the product. So the point of the event is just for everyone to have fun. So naturally, the interpreters should be having fun. But going back to how it was difficult at first, I found it difficult to interpret some of the lingo that's used in health and wellness and multi-level marketing. So I actually had to look up what multi-level marketing meant before I did my first job. I really had no idea. And it's something that I think in the past had been known as a pyramid scheme, right? Like Louis was explaining to us before, where people are buying as independent contractors a product from this huge company and then selling those products on behalf of the company. And of course, the dream is that you recruit friends and family members and acquaintances to also sell those products, and then you bring in a commission from what those people sell, right? So that's kind of the dream. But nowadays, I've heard it called network marketing. And so the idea is that you're selling and marketing these products to a social network that already exists for you. So those concepts were a bit difficult for me to grasp at first. And then I always have reserved a certain level of skepticism in terms of the products that health and wellness multi-level marketing companies offer. So they range from the pretty common like protein bars, protein shakes, to more esoteric sounding products like cleanses and products to activate your mitochondria, which I always thought was a bit strange. I think my mitochondria probably function exactly as they should without any special product, but that's what some of the claims are. And then some of the flavors are strange. So for example, some of the flavors of the food products, like whey flavored chips, which I'm not sure how whey is supposed to be an enticing flavor, but again, those things are difficult. And one final thing that I think I found difficult in the beginning was that, again, in these health and wellness events, the object is to sell the products, get people excited about selling the products. And so they have a lot of people come and tell their life stories, and there are a lot of athletes that talk about how the products have helped them. And personally, one of my weak spots as an interpreter is sports. And so when we start getting into sports metaphors and athletes talking about, different events that they've placed in, or, different medals or prizes that they've won, that was a bit difficult at first. I won't lie, my first conference, my partner had to rescue me when someone was talking about an American football star. So I'm going to move on now to kind of some of the claims that these multi-level marketing companies make about their health and wellness products. Usually at these events, to get people fired up about selling the products, there's some kind of science talk where they have a panel of scientists come on and talk about the claims that the products make. So it might be, to activate your mitochondria, to help you lose weight, to help you be hydrated. In general, the idea is that you're going to be a better person and have a higher quality of life when you use these health and wellness products. And so these science talks are usually pretty challenging, just because they sound quite technical. And to be frank with you, in some ways I wonder if these technical science talks are actually meant to be accessible to the general public, or if it's just meant so that the general public will say, wow, yeah, that sounds really technical and like a real thing, and the claims must be true. Usually the science talks will go on and on about peer-reviewed research studies, and by the end of the talk you think as an interpreter, how many more times am I going to have to say peer-reviewed research study? They talk about their advisory board, but the whole science talk and the science panels, it's not very sciencey, in the sense that the entire panel is like a group of scientists and medical doctors that all agree with each other somehow about the products. There's no voice of critique like there would be, in a normal science panel. And so finally, I'd like to tell you just about what these events are like in terms of interpreting. So usually when a multi-level marketing health and wellness company has an event, it's thousands of people coming together. So for example, in my city, Indianapolis, we're a very big conference city. And so we'll see people come in and fill our professional, American football stadium with thousands of attendees that come to these events to learn about the products and get excited about selling the products. So something that was confusing to me at first when I started working these events was that they call these events trainings or workshops. And to me, a training or a workshop is when you get together with maybe, 20 or 30 people and work on a specific skill, or you're exchanging knowledge. But this is thousands of people. I think the largest event I interpreted for had maybe a total of 15,000 attendees. It was pretty big. So usually at these events, you have a lot of motivational speakers, which is actually really fun as an interpreter. It's a lot of storytelling and a lot of people talking about how to use storytelling to sell products. And so you'll have a lot of people try and fire up the crowd and use some language and phrasing that was tricky at first for me working into my Spanish B. So for example, they'll talk about vision casting, what's your vision for selling these products? They'll try and motivate you with phrases like, go for it and let's kick some ass. And so it can be tricky, especially working into my B, making sure that I embody the spirit of enthusiasm while at the same time not taking it too far and offending the people listening. And then just to wrap things up here, because I know I've been talking for too long, I'll tell you something. In spite of all of my skepticism for wellness products and the health and wellness industry, and especially the multi-level marketing industry, I think that one thing these companies get right is that they realize, in terms of wellness, the importance of social connections. And they really know how to appeal to people's need to connect to other people. And fundamentally, that's what I think the health and wellness multi-level marketing events are all about, is just to make people feel some kind of connections to others. Although personally, I worked for many, many years as a medical interpreter, and in my experience seeing many, many patients over time, there's some very simple things we need for our health and wellness, like drinking enough water, consuming enough fiber, and just moving our body for 30 minutes a day. But my experience as a medical interpreter is a topic for another speech. Thank you very much.